Number 6, David Bennett.
Mr Speaker, my question is to the Minister of Transport. What recent announcements has he made on funding for transport?
Honourable Jerry Brownlee.
Mr Speaker, last week I released the draft government policy statement on land transport. This is a very thorough document that proposes investing $38.7 billion in land transport over the next 10 years. It continues the government's prioritisation of economic growth and productivity, road safety and value for money. It continues to focus on fixing the infrastructure deficit which this government has set about rectifying.
Supplementary question, David Bennett.
What specific gains are there for regions in the GPS?
Honourable Jerry Brownlee.
Mr Speaker, our regions or regional networks are of critical importance to New Zealand's economy, and the draft GPS recognises this by increasing the funding to maintain local roads and replacing regional funding, which was scheduled to expire on the 31st of March 2015. It is replaced with a dedicated activity class for regional improvements of up to $90 million a year, and that funding package is, while contestable, available for both local and state highway projects. It is also there is also an exclusion on it for metro councils.
Supplementary question, Dennis O'Rourke.
Minister, why is the government preventing funding to restore the Napier-Gisborne rail link when the road route cannot be expected to cope in the long term?
Honourable Jerry Brownlee.
No, we're not.
This is a point of order. Dennis O'Rourke.
The minister seems to have misunderstood the question. He says he wasn't, and that wasn't the question.
Order.
The question was, why is the government preventing funding?
Order. That was the question, and the minister responded by saying it wasn't preventing funding. That's the minister's answer. Supplementary question, David Bennett.
What other areas of land transport are receiving a boost in funding?
Honourable Jerry Brownlee.
Mr Speaker, the draft GPS also proposes increases in funding for a range of activities, including walking and cycling, road safety promotion and road policing. And it continues increasing in funding for public transport set out in the current GPS. Not all of the government's commitments to these activities are included in the GPS. For example, the bulk of the $1.3 billion spent on Auckland Rail was funded outside the GPS. Walking and cycling also receive money outside of this activity class. For example, funding the cycleway alongside the Christchurch Road of National Significance, the Southern Link, which is part of the state highway budget.
Supplementary question, Phil Twyford.
Why won't he take a more balanced approach and move freight by whatever combination of rail, coastal shipping, ports and roads is the most efficient and sustainable for any given route, instead of his approach, which is just bigger trucks and bigger motorways?
Honourable Jerry Brownlee.
Mr Speaker, we don't support Labor Party policy.
Question. Order. Question number 7, Sue Moroney.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister for Social Development. Will she agree to establish a